You really are seeing the cult break in real time. This is what it looks like. And I know a lot of you guys are scared to believe this because you feel like you've been led on so many times. But I don't think you were led on by people that teach about cults and who know about cults, who grew up in cults. And never before were we going, yep, it's done. It's like, we weren't saying that. Other people may have been saying that, but they didn't understand cults. And cults don't start to break apart till they're in full power, which happened January 20th, and not before then. That's when he had the Supreme Court. That's when he had the tech bro money. He had Elon. He had so much more power. He himself has said that. And once the cult is in full power like that, they are expected to deliver. And the analogy I gave is like, I was raised in the Mormon cult, and if they had said, hey, we're going to release the golden plates, like these thin sheets of gold that had the scripture stamped on them, your whole reason for being here, the whole reason the world has said, what the heck is that? Joseph Smith, who? He's a pedo what? Like, all this stuff you have to hear. And it's like, look, we're just going to put them out for the whole world to see. And then they will know that we were right. And Joseph Smith was the prophet. And this is the true church. And everyone can join and will rejoice. And everything will be great. And everything will be right with the world. People would go crazy. That'd be worldwide coverage, right? And then let's say that prophet gets in there and 6 months go by and nothing happens. And then we start saying, where's the plates? And they say, oh, well, so-and-so's got him on his desk. He's just making sure everything's, safe and in order. And then we're going to show them to the world. Awesome. And then they don't. And then when you start banging on the wall going, where are they? And they go, oh my God, cringe. Why do you even care? Like, look at all the good we're doing. We have all these temples. We're baptizing this many dead people a day. What the F is your problem? Don't you get it? We're doing amazing. In fact, you can get out of here if you care about that stuff, because what a sucker you are. Like, obviously we weren't really going to do that. Like, I feel like someone else probably set us up and we didn't really say it. You just think we said that. So if you believe in that stuff still, you need to get the F out of here, because you're weak and you're stupid and you keep falling for things that other churches, them Catholics, that's what that would be like. And, I've tried to put myself back in the cult, and I was someone that they said would never leave. No one thought I would leave, ever. And if they had promised me that, my heart would have been broken. And I think that alone would have been enough to have me leave, because my purpose for being there had just been like betrayed. But then to call me names, because when you're in a cult, you have a feeling of suffering. Like, we're just going to wait for this prize to arrive, which would be owning the libs and putting Hillary and everyone in prison for being these pedophiles and whatever. So, and none of that is coming, not only not coming to fruition, but they're being shamed for it. And I was thinking, when I was in the cult, like, your whole being goes to it, because it becomes the center of your personality. You don't even have one anymore. That is your personality. And to protect it and guard it and feed it, put your money in, your time, everything towards it. And then all of a sudden they go, whatever, cringe that you believe that. Oof. So, if I had them shame me for that, I think I'd have left, but I would have left after lighting a bunch of poof. Yeah. So don't think that isn't in their head. And I've shared on here, like, if you go on the different social media websites, there's a group that are talking like that. They're talking about revolution. They're talking pitchforks. They're talking dragon people. And then today, this happened. This is from this is the New York Times, and this is from a senator, I want to say Wyden, and he worked on the Epstein files for 3 years. And none of this has been shared from the White House. And usually it's financial stuff that bring people down, records, things like that being hidden and stuff. It's not usually the actual main thing going on. It's some, like Al Capone was the tax evasion. Usually money's where people get tripped up because there's ways to find it and track it. So this isn't going anywhere. It's just not. And I know a lot of you, like I said, you're scared to believe in it, but this is how cults break. And a lot of you are going, yeah, but this kind of stuff's happened before. It hasn't, though. It hasn't. And if anyone told you, oh, it was going to break at this point before January 20th, they were not someone that deals in cults, knows cults, teaches about cults. I assure you. Because you just wouldn't say that. Because it has to be, the mission has to be pulled from you. There has to be this betrayal. And the shaming was just a nail in the coffin for a certain percentage. I would say 10% right there. I think him doing the attacking is adding to that. And I think stuff like this coming out is just going to keep feeding them. So you've got the center that are going to stay around him no matter what. That's because they make money off of him. They're afraid to leave, or they just have nothing else. That's their God, and they're going to stay. They're just going to go down with the ship, and their just identity cannot handle anything else. Then you have the next circle around that, and that's the people that are saying, you know, I'm really upset about this, but I'm willing to still, you know, push forward because the alternative would be worse. So they're there, but they're getting picked on and attacked by their own leader, and every day more evidence is coming out. And he just keeps doubling down. And then he says things like, you know, I'm going to fire that Fed chair. Why did Biden put him in there anyway? He did. All this stuff is going to start compiling. People that aren't ready to leave the building yet, they are going to scrutinize things differently. They're not going to feel like they have a choice because the social pressure on them right now, and they feel that little ache of betrayal. That's just there. You get cheated on, you can bring someone back home, but you still are like, It's just human nature. You wouldn't just be like, oh, everything's great. Go back. You said you loved me once, you still do. You can't help it. There's a betrayal there. So I know it's, a lot of you are like, I don't see, if you're not seeing this, I don't know how. I can't even get away from it. It's in the comments, it's everywhere. And my son and I were looking at watching videos of them talking this morning. And my son just started laughing. He goes, if there's one group not to piss off, it's these people, because they show up. There's a lot of January 6th people in this group that are mad. He's like, I just imagine all the Ford F-150s, all the gun racks in the back, headed there, because that's how a lot of them are talking, like vigilante. He's like, they have shown that they will show up. And you're going to piss them off? Do it. Do it. So while I know it's easy to shut down and go, this isn't real, lady, consider the fact that you're missing the opportunity of harnessing what's happening here. This is a huge moment in history. And anyone that taught you about cults was not saying that it had broken before. I've been saying cracks since January 20th, but before, no. So you're going to miss out on harnessing what's happening and using it to our advantage. And so I don't want people to shut down about this. You know, we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to be pretty right on about this. I think Knitting Cult Lady, she's right there with me. And this isn't like we talk to each other about this. But when you know cults, you know cults. So, you know, have a little faith. It doesn't cost you any more than having negativity, does it? Nope. Have a little faith.